Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to another Republic of Motorsport Grand Prix. This is the Japanese Grand Prix. You join us live at Suzuka for this one, and one of my favorite circuits on the calendar. Of course, very passionate fans over in this part of the world, and represented by the Honda Mandem. And we're going to be hoping for the Red Bulls to go well today, as well as the Alpha Tauris, which are powered by the Honda Love engine. And here we go, we've got your championship leader first to track, and that is the main man, ABR Stubbsy, which has a slender lead in terms of the championship, the Drivers' Championship. And we'll just get into that whilst we're in the early stages of qualifying, a short qualifying format here, as we do not have a full grid today. And we do have to get into the real meat today, which will be the F1 Grand Prix around the Sakir circuit after this one shortly as well. So great to see George Russell in the Black Arrow in the champ seats. It's been a Game of Thrones who's going to get in that seat first, but I'm glad that it was Mr. Russell that prevailed. But we got the number 37 car that we're looking at here, which is ABR Stubbsy in the Racing Point, the Pink Panther, and he leads the title charge on 344 points. In P2 of the championship is Rooney 2003, your founder and host of Republic of Motorsport, and he's on 331 points. And then we've got Lorm, the second of the Mercedes, on 180, so a big step there. And then we've got James 95, we've got Celtic Speed, then Weston, Strazzy, K-Mag, Ladlow, Yanni Jans, Aki, Vettel, Dunsworth, Dacey, 4.5, Jack Miles, Givads, Stato, Pullin, and Tommy Real. The rest don't deserve a mention as they haven't scored a point as of yet in the championship. And they're moving into the constructors though. Mercedes, as usual, you know, in the real world and here as well, they are dominating proceedings, and they are currently on 511 points, 150 ahead of the, could call them the junior team, the Pink Mercedes. Poor Stubbsy, he's been, you know, dragging that team on by himself, and yeah, he's 151 points behind in the Racing Point. And we've got Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, Renault, Haas, Alfa Romeo, Alpha Tauri and Williams. And as you can see, Stubbsy is now on his first hot lap. Important to get a decent banker around this circuit and give you confidence to really start to push more and more throughout the session as it goes on. And as you can see, coming through Dunlop here, and really just need to dip the throttle there, drop a gear. Get too greedy on the throttle out that corner. Very nice smooth steering inputs here from Stubbsy. We approach the hairpin, get up, that's it, third for the power. Don't want too much wheel spin out of there. I'll get as tight as you can. We approach Spoon, one of the more trickier corners. Want to carry as much speed as you can. Get a good exit onto this back straight here. As you rocket up towards the famous 130R, where we do crisscross. It's the only figure of 8 circuit on the calendar in actual fact, in the real unique aspects. We've got the famous last chicane where we saw Senna and Prost collide, and was that an invalidation? I think it may have been. Stubbsy taking a bit too much out of that final corner there, so he's going to dive back into the pit. So let's catch up with someone else out on track. Have a look at Tommy Real. Just under 14 minutes remaining of qualifying, and then we're going to jump straight into the race. Lovely to see Mick Schumacher take the crown and win the Formula 2 championship today, and Tommy Real kicks us off with a 27.268. Not too bad a lap time. Currently everyone has fitted the soft compound of tyre. You can make this a one-stop race. And Yanni Jans has popped in a 27.5, Racing Carl a 130.6. Let's catch up with someone else. Ludlow pops up into P3 at 28.0. And the second Alpha has invalidated. We've got K-Mag. We call this the home Grand Prix for the Red Bull boys. The charging bulls. It's going to be a load of bull. It's going to be the real deal, the real rodeo. We're about to find out. So Lorne has gone fast. It's a very good lap time, and the first man to venture into the 26s, and it's a 26.7 for him. Rooney is still currently in the pit lane, feeling confident or just sitting back. About to find out. And K-Mag pops up with a 27.5, good enough for 4th fastest so far. A lot of energy going through the tyres, especially through the likes of Sector 1 around this circuit. And it's about getting a good rhythm, carrying as much corner speed as possible through them S's on the first part of the lap. And Dunsworth is going to kick us off on the first lap for the Renault driver with a 1 minute 27.8. Not bad for a banker, but there'll be room for improvement, I'm pretty sure of that. So who should we focus on next? We've got the Ferrari driver of Drazzi, AB Drazzi, kicking us off with the first lap time for the Ferrari driver here. Tommy Real has set the benchmark pretty high. Let's see if he can compete. Of course, drivers always want to be the fastest in their own team. And if you haven't already, remember to follow the ROM F1 official Twitch channel, as well as get over to the YouTube page and make sure you give that some love, give it a subscribe, and it always matters. Really puts a lot of time and effort in. I'll take time out to do this, and all of the admins like James as well, to coordinate all of your race incidents. Of course, there's a full stewards debrief after every Grand Prix, so please make sure to show them some love and affection. Oh, nice to see we have another driver. Dyslexic has joined the session now. Did you know Suzuka is actually owned by Honda? It's one of the most demanding race circuits in the world. It's got a variety of corners, especially through Sector 1. You've got quite medium to high speed first few corners. Of course, 130R flats, and you've got the low speed of like that hairpin. And Stubbsy! We didn't notice him out on track, but he's absolutely killed it. A 26 dead for the big man. And this will be good practice for him, because he'll be racing again once again later on today around the Suzuka circuits. Let's have a look at the Haas of Vettel, validated. I'm not very good at this. I normally, whenever I ride on board with someone, they normally become a cropper, so I do apologise in advance. AlphaTauri, one of my favourite liveries for this season. Looking fresh, sounding fresh, and a very good lap there for Westerns. A driver which has shown some great improvement over the season so far. Pops himself up into position 3 with a 27.1. On a good day, Westerns should and can be on the podium, and let's hope for a solid result today. But the likes of Tommy and a few of the new guys will push him all the way for that, I'm pretty sure. We do have the current man in P2 in the standings, the number 9 Mercedes of Rooney, currently out on a hot lap, and he's feeling bullish. Can he get through into the top 10 on their mediums? Well, it doesn't really matter, it's just about qualifying position, but can he qualify as high as possible on their mediums? Of course, your delta time will be about a second down on that a bit harder compound of rubber. Right, he comes up to the line and goes third fastest into the 26 is a 26.9, and that's quite impressive, very impressive actually for the medium compound of tyre. So he'll be happy with that. But can anyone knock him down the pecking order later on in this qualifying? Let's have a look at Fronhoff, who's just gone through 130R. Ignore the purple sector times which are flashing up on your screen, because Codemasters don't really make sense when it comes to that. You have to pay attention to the top right of your screen, which will be the sector times, but it is good, and it's good enough for a front row as it stands with 7.5 minutes remaining. That's a 26.769, just edged in front of Lorne, who set a 26.789. So you can see the tight margins, and it's a big lap with big demand, so to be that close to them two, that's very impressive. We've got James again in validation there, so he'll be probably heading back into pit lane unless he's got enough fuel. Let's see what the Red Bull driver does. Let's opt for pit lane now. Stubbsy's going to hold tight. Who's going to be next on a lap? See if anyone's going to push. It's like Ludlow's gunning for it. Excuse me, I'm going to be trying to learn as many of the corner names as I can as we go through the lap here. As we approach Spoon Curve. We come onto the backstretch. Come through 130R now. Down into Casino Triangle, Casio Triangle, sorry. Also sponsored by Casio, a big Japanese brand. And through the last curve onto the main straight. He's going to push again. It's only good for a 27.555. Coming through this sweeping first corner double apex. And we approach the S's, also known as Snake. Sliver on through the anti-banked curve and then through Dunlop. And come through Degner 1 and Degner 2. And the rocket one up to the hairpin. Come round 200R this corner, never do that. It's not really a corner in an F1 car. I'm sure in the GT car it's definitely be a corner you'd have to lift through there. And it looks like he has abandoned that lap time. So let's check in with the Haas. Got a bit of traffic up ahead of us. Yanni Yan's giving us a cheeky tow. And he's just going to disrupt our airflow. Of course, these modern F1 cars are very sensitive to a car ahead of them. You will scrub off a bit of downforce. Just imagine it like you're on a boat, you're following a boat in front of you, and of course you get that wake, them waves which comes off as it disturbs the water as it goes through it. And it's the same, the same thing when it comes to aerodynamics, the disruption of the air. If you're going into clean air, you're going to have a lot more downforce because the air is going to be nice, thick and stable for you. But if you're following someone, it's going to be all wibbledy wobbly and all over the place. It's going to disrupt your aerodynamics and the amount of push you get down on the car, which is called downforce. So imagine it like a plane. It uses the wings to push it up into the air. An F1 car uses them to push it down, so you get as much ground effect, as much traction through the corners due to that increased aerodynamics. Don't know if I've confused you more than I've enlightened you there, but looks like most drivers are into pit lane now. We've got Tommy Real on an outlap, as well as James, the big man. James puts a lot of time and effort into this league. We thank you very much for your contributions, as always, as he's just coming out onto the backstretch now on this 3.6 mile circuit. One of my favourites, a real driver's circuit. Corner and back into the pits. Interesting. 3 minutes and 25 seconds remain here. James yet to set a lap time, and he's going to be hard pressed, putting extra pressure on himself now to set a lap time. And this is probably, I've seen that, 7 tenths to pole position, front half to Stubbsy. Probably one of the closer qualifyings of this season. I'm sure Stubbsy can show a bit more improvement. He's in danger, I'd say, of going into the 25s. Nice and committed through the first corner. Don't get in the power too early. And we just want to be as smooth as we can through the S's, through the snake curves. This one slightly off camber as we approach Dunlop. Do not touch that outside curve, it will kill you. As we rocket on down to Degner 1, kiss the inside, drop a gear, down to third. Some people try to take it in fourth, I always end up Spinala. Come up to the hairpin now. And a bit deep. Doesn't cost us too much there. Bit of delay on power. Dawn is coming out. All the drivers now coming out for their final attempt at this qualifying session. Stubbsy is out on track. Rooney is still in pit lane. He has a set of softs strapped to the car. Will he feel the need, or will he be the only man to go on that alternate strategy? And James, interestingly enough, is going to go out on the meets. So Tommy is massively up on his personal best time, and this should be comfortably into the 26s if he hooks up these final few corners. Glad to see they remove the bump out of this final bend and up to the line. I'll get as tight as you can. And yes, Tommy goes second fastest. A very good lap time there, Tommy. Well done to you, sir. That is a 26.676 and second fastest overall. Putting some pressure there. Rooney is on an out lap. Lorna's just started his flying lap. We've got Carl on a flyer. Vettel now, as well as Drazzy. We're going to ride on board with Mr. Vettel, who's in danger, yet to set a lap time under pressure. Back end is trying to twerk like Nicki Minaj. He manages to hold it down. So they've cooked up the rear tyres a bit. He's going to have to be careful through the next few corners. Of course, we're in hot lap. We're in a maximum fuel revs as well. Of course, that will all change from next year because the fuel modes will be limited, and we'll just see how that will impact us on the game. I'm sure that will transfer over as well. Approach spoon curve. You can see anyone improve in these final minutes of qualifying now. We will switch over to the battle for pole position because we have Stubbsy out on track. He is currently through the first couple of corners. I think we're going to focus on this man here, Rooney, which will be the lead challenger. You see what he's made of. Currently fifth fastest overall at 26.9. And he's left it late. Checkered flag is out as he comes through the S's. How much speed can he carry through here? Stays in fifth, which is optimal for the traction. Drops it down to fourth momentarily. Get that extra rotation as we come up to Dunlop curve here. Pushes it through seventh, eighth. And then for Degner 1, we're going to dip down into seventh. Chuck it in. Hope the nose sticks. Run a bit on the grass there. Lorna set a 26.645 to put himself on the front row of the grid as it stands. Can Rooney make it a Mercedes front row? That's not going to happen. Stubbs is really fast. But you know what I mean. Is he going to put him up there on the front row of the grid as well? We're about to find out. Stubbsy is ahead of us on track, so the lap times will be coming in thick and fast now. Both of the Red Bulls down in 12th and 13th. They're going to have to try and play maybe an alternate strategy here on their home turf at the Honda circuit of Suzuka. And Stubbsy has done a 25.7. He's absolutely smashed it out of the park, Stubbsy. Oh man. Here comes Rooney. What can he do to challenge? He puts himself second with a 26 dead. He matched Stubbsy's first lap time, but Stubbsy just knocked it out of the park altogether there with that 25.7. My G, the 25.7. That is some serious pace. You're not serious. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, that mixed ups. Another pole position goes to the big man. So that is it for qualifying now. Everyone will dive into the pits. We'll have a short interlude and we're going to get into the race. So Stubbsy adds to his pole positions for this season. Make that 15 for the season now. 1-5 pole positions for Stubbsy. Absolutely dominating when it comes to qualifying. And the only other guys to get a pole position, he's not sharing them out, is he? Pearce has had one pole. James, I think, has had one pole position, and yeah, Rooney with 2. Currently, Stubbsy has 11 race wins. Rooney's had 5. Lawns had 1, as well as Drazzy. Big up, Drazzy. So, who's your prediction for the win today? Looks like everyone in the top 10 will be starting on that soft compound of tyre. Everyone outside the top 10 gets a free tyre choice. And as you can see, pole position separated by 0.3 of a second. So we've got British drivers, Croatian. What's this one? Is it African flag for lawn? Not quite sure. Don't want to guess. Then we've got a Czech. We've got German, Belgium. We've got Welsh. We've got Greek. Slovak of Ludlow. We've got a Portuguese of K-Mag. And some more Brits in the pack. I want to say Ecuador, I think, for lawn, but probably wrong. Oh, overcast conditions. Will we see a bit of rain? You certainly hope to see some rain here at Suzuka. It's hard on the best of days, but let's hope we get a little bit of drizzle for Drazzy. What are you saying, boys? A bit, sprinkle a bit of that magic stuff, a bit of water on the track. You know F1's a lot better when it's wet and wild. I'm not even going to ask what the weather's going to be like. We like a surprise. The track conditions will be down. Whether that will play into the hands of the drivers, we will find out. Of course, the tyres will be a bit more cool. They won't have the ultimate grip. But again, the tyres might, stay in the operating window. So here we go. Drivers will just be locking in their final strategies, etc. Of course, parc fermé conditions do apply from qualification. So the only thing that you can adjust is pretty much your... What can we do? You can adjust the diff. You can adjust the front wing. That's pretty much it. I think you can adjust your tyre pressures, if I'm not mistaken now. I think they did an update recently. Don't quote me on that, though. So thank you for joining us today. We've got K-Mag in the house, Lawn, Droop Dog, Commander Root, and Big Stubbs in the house. The race start will be coming right up after this short break. And here we go. Race control has given the green light. So we can get ready for the formation lap in just a moment. So welcome back to another Republic of Motorsport Grand Prix. This is the Japanese Grand Prix, and we are at the business end of the season. Stubbsy is going to be on pole position once again for the 15th time this season, and he's got his main challenger of Rooney in the Mercedes up behind him, breathing down his neck. It's going to be a race down to that first corner, and that's where the real pinch will come on lap one. Then we're going to have Westerns showing some great impressive run on the on the first part, sorry, the second part of this championship season, and he's going to be on the second row with front half. Then we've got Lorne and Tommy Rill on row 3, and we've got Vettel and Drazi, Dunsworth and Yanni Jans, and then just outside the top 10, starting on P11 is Ludlow, and we've got K-Mag, James, Racing Carl, all on the medium tyres, have all been disqualified from the formation. That not the Grand Prix itself, there's just been some contact gone on there, and that's why it's dropped them back to the grid. They will be there with ice blocks of tyres for the start of the Grand Prix. Dyslexic on the back row, opting for the soft compound of tyres. K-Mag saying, wow, we can't even make a formation lap. And in the words of TRL Limitless, the tyres are going to be minus 3,000 degrees on the start line here for the start of this one. But let's keep it clean. It's a long race, especially around here. And we've got another one. Tommy Rill is going to be teleported to the grid, as well as Drazi. I assume that was Drazi touching Tommy Rill inappropriately. They've both put themselves onto the grid nice and early. But we're going to get ready here for 27 laps of the Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka, the home of Honda, and they've got a lot of work to do. Westerns is their best hope here for a Honda victory. Will these two at the front of the order trip over each other? We've got about 13 points, the gap at the front of the championship order between these two title protagonists of Stubbsy and Rooney. Who's going to come out king of Japan, and who's going to get that black belt? You're about to find out. Here we go. Cars taking their grid slots. We've got overcast conditions here today in Suzuka. It's going to be tricky for those guys on the harder medium compounds of tyres. We're looking at a one-stop strategy here today. We've got 15 cars on the grid. All the lights are on. And it's lights out, and we are go for the Japanese Grand Prix, and it's an excellent start for Stubbsy off the front row of the grid. And we've got carnage in the background. There's an Alfa Romeo into the barrier. We're going to stay in this lead battle, and we've got an Alfa up the inside of the Alfa Tauri, making up a good position. And surely, is that going to be a safety car? VSC has already been deployed, front half with a 5-second penalty. It's a severe collision on the start of this Grand Prix. I didn't see too much untoward there. Sync Dyslexic making up a position, maybe under the safety car even there. We'll see if he has to give up that. And Tommy Rill is out of the session. He has retired from the Grand Prix. What has happened is he put it into the barrier. He's off to the left here, and yes, major contacts there on lap 1. Tyres not up to temperature, and damn, it has not been a good start. Tommy Rill after a good qualifying performance, and we are back up to racing conditions. We cannot sit there. We cannot take a moment to breathe for the loss there of Tommy Rill at the start of this Grand Prix. We're back up to racing speed, and already front half with a 5-second penalty. That will be reviewed after the Grand Prix, I'm pretty sure of that, but he's going to have to serve that at his pit stop. Any 5-second pens will be served in pit lane. And well, we got a battle here. It's Haas versus Mercedes, and in the background there, Dunsworth is keeping a close eye on the action, and he's going to have a front row ticket as they rocket up to 130R for the first time of the Grand Prix, and it is Vettel who gets ahead on this occasion. If anyone else is going to have a look down into the hairpin, Stubbsy at the front of the order with the fastest lap, and yeah, is it just the standards? It's just the standards, which don't have a panic attack. Oh, Codemasters, you do love to surprise me. But yeah, please do excuse the standings as it is. I think we've got James in for a fresh nose already in the Grand Prix. You hate to see it. Tommy Rill has left the session. Unfortunate to see Ludlow speeding in the pit lane. Of course, struggling to get the car slowed down as these standings just start to sort themselves out. So we've got a yellow flag. Is everyone going to come through okay? That's a car in the barrier. And it's Sync Dyslexic. Has he got any damage to the car? Looks like he might have got out of that one alright, somehow. So at the front of the order, this is your race leader, which is ABR Stubbsy. Rooney is in position 2. He's still within that DRS window as it stands. And let's have a look at the movers and shakers on lap 1 of the Grand Prix. We'll have to wait until their standings are corrected. Is anyone close enough to make a move? Jazzy may be in range to have a little nibble. Stubbsy with a 1 minute 30.4 for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. This looks like the closest battle on track at the moment. Jazzy going down into turn 1. Real difficult place to try and make an overtake. But a good place if you're going to pull it off. Then it's very hard for them to get the switchback through the S's. It's pretty much single file through here. See Dunsworth scrubbed off a bit of speed there. Let's open the door for us. So on lap 3, Stubbsy leads from Rooney, and it's front half Westerns, Vettel, Lorne, Dunsworth, Drazzy, Yanni Jans, and K-Mag rounding out the top 10. Then it's Racing Carl, Dyslexic, James Ludlow, and sadly we have lost Tommy Real from the Grand Prix. Dyslexic with a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. He's been a naughty boy on 3 occasions, and 3 strikes means you get a 3-second penalty in the game. So here we go, let's have a look at this battle up ahead of us. It looks like Vettel is on the pace and starting to apply some pressure to the back of Westerns, who's slipped down into position 4. So in terms of position changes, front half is up 1, Westerns slipped down 1, Vettel is up 2, Lorne is down 1, Dunsworth up 2, Yanni Jans up 1, K-Mag up 2, Racing Car up 3 positions as well as Dyslexic. But the real losers, of course, Ludlow and Tommy Real on the opening lap here, and Rooney is ever closer to Stubbsy. Can he send one down into turn 1? And everyone's setting fastest lap times, and it's going to be close but not close enough. Catching is one thing, passing is another when it comes to Suzuka, and you're going to need the aid of DRS on this racetrack to really make the move stick. We're going to try and force your competitor into a mistake. It's going to be critical around here. Oh, Stubbsy really pushing the envelope of track limits there, kicking up a bit of grass on the exit. Just manages to hold on to it again using all of the available track. We've got James with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix now. K-Mag has picked up the time penalty. Really looking quite competitive at this stage of the Grand Prix. Really hanging on to the back of Stubbsy. Down the order, is anyone else close enough to make a move? Vettel is still hanging right onto the back of Westerns, who is in turn closing up to the back of front half as we come through 130R and down into the legendary Casio corner, the final hairpin where it all kicked off with Prost and Senna. And it's going to be close enough to make a DRS pass down the main straight. We're about to find out. Take a look on the back of Stubbsy, just to make his car as wide as possible, plant it in the middle of the road, and he should be able to survive through sector 2. He holds on to good effect. And a look at this battle here, looks like front half is starting to hold up. Mr. Westerns and Vettel at this stage of the race. It's very easy to lose it here through the dirty air. You're going to lose quite a few points of downforce. Try to tell that to Rudy. Going through Degner, he's right on the back of Stubbsy, breathing down his neck. This is all about the mental pressure he's starting to apply to the car ahead. Try and push him into a mistake, not physically but mentally. And Stubbsy running a bit wide, trying to get on the traction nice and clean. He's going through 200R. We rock it up towards Spoon Curve. Here we go, it's Mercedes Power versus Mercedes Power. It's the 2020 car versus the 2019 car. Of course, they're on equal performance in this lead. And down into the last chicane. Is he going to make a move? Is there going to be space? Oh, on this occasion, but he's closer than ever at this point in the race. He's going to have DRS assistance this time. Stubbsy is going to be on the button all the way down into turn 1, and he's going to need it. Rooney's catching, but too late. Stubbsy doing what he needs to at this stage in the race. The undercut is going to be very powerful in this race. It could probably win you the Grand Prix. These tyres are going to be going off like crazy, and Drazzy has got through past Dunsworth. Just missed that there, but looks like a good move there for Drazzy. And Vettel has picked up a time penalty, currently residing in position 5. Quite easy to do around here, as you can see, cutting the Degners, using all of the available roads, trying to hang on to the back of Westerns at this point. Lap 6 of 27 here. This is allowing Lorne at the moment. Lorne is now closing in on this battle for position, well, the last podium position in actual fact. As we have a look quickly at the penalty situation, Vettel has a 3 second, and we have a 5 second for front half. That's going to cost him at the pit stop. And the car running a bit wide there. Someone locking up. He's going to come under pressure when it comes to DRS. I think he's already charging his battery as we come down the main straight. DRS enabled. He's going to go to the outside. It's Alfa Romeo versus Alpha Tauri. It's a Honda Pride on the line, and he's going to have to go the long way round. And look at this for a move from Westerns. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, but he's going to be on the outside for the next. Careful not to get the nose chopped off there. And are they all going to come through in one piece? Look at this, Vettel's all over the back of this. He says, come on boys, trip over one another. I want a piece of the action. Yes mates, what's going on? And Vettel, it's getting so close. Ooh. Very close to disaster at this point. This is just giving the leaders some breathing space now. A 4 second gap from Rooney to front half. This 4-way fight for the last sip of champagne, the last step on the podium, and the last piece of pride. There you go, Rooney's edging ever closer, ever closer. He's going to have a little stab down into the chicane, thinks better of it, tucks back in. Going to try once again the aid of DRS down into turn 1. He's closer this time. He's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. Is it going to be enough? He's going to go wheel to wheel down into turn 1. Here comes Rooney. He's going to have to go the long way around the outside. There's going to be a slight bit of contact. Rooney's going to have to back out of it. They live to fight another day, but my God, that was a close call. And Stubbsy, no, he's got through. Stubbsy's had a moment. We cut away there. We thought he'd held on to the position, but Rooney has got through. Now Stubbsy needs to hang on to the back of Rooney and try and make his pass as well. Let's get a quick update on the battery life here. And Stubbsy holding it together. Similar battery life. And he's going to have to compose himself. And yet there's been a move, a change of position. Westerns up into a podium slot. Then we got Alfa off. Front half's taken to the gravel on the exit of Degner. And Lorne is going to line up and overtake as well. It's really cost him now as they come into the hairpin. They're going to go wheel to wheel. And that's going to be Lorne with the ideal inside line there. And maybe a slight mistake, maybe a bit of oversteer. And that's really cost front half. He's gone to 3rd to 6th in a matter of same amount of corners. And Lorne looking good. This is fantastic for Westerns. He's already got a nice little gap there. And he's in cruise control. Now Stubbsy, he's not going to be happy about this. I can tell you that for a fact. And he's dived into the pits. He's pulled the trigger early and he said, right, I will take the undercut and I'm going to do you on the strategy. So if we're pitting around now, we are predicting hard tyres, but are we going to see a hard or a medium on the car? It's hard tyres for Stubbsy, and let's see where he comes back out. It's going to be crucial that he has some clean air. Let's come down into turn 1. Look at this battle we've got here. K-Mag and Dunsworth. Yeah, crucially, Stubbsy's come back out into position 10, the first of the guys to make a pit stop in the top 10. And he's got some nice clean air ahead of him. That's what you need at this point. Start to pump in the lap times. Now, what is the leader going to do? He's done the hard work on track. He's made the move. Is he going to dive into the pits this lap and respond? The longer you leave it, the worse it's going to get. Or is he going to try and hang it out to maybe lap 11? Maybe go for the mediums? I mean, that's going to be risky in itself. Let's see. Here comes the leader through the final chicane. Is he going to dart to the right? Yes, he does. Rooney into pit lane. Let's catch up now with Stubbsy. And let's see where Stubbsy... Is it going to have worked? Got a lot of cars in the pits on this lap. Vaughan stays out, Drazzy stays out. K-Mag stays out. And here we go. Rooney's out of the pits. Here comes Stubbsy. He's going to be side by side into the first corner. And he just gets back in front of him. That was a tight exit of the pit lane. But yes, Stubbsy back in the lead of the Grand Prix. Tyres up to temperature. Of course, Rooney's going to have 1 lap younger tyres. But Stubbsy pulled the trigger, put in that lap earlier. Got back out into some free air. Pumped in a decent lap, and as you can see, it's paid dividends, and he's back in the net lead of the Grand Prix. We've got K-Mag on the opposite strap. He's gone for mediums. Will he hang it out to a soft? We're going to see. Where do the other battles lie on track? We expect Vettel, Lawn and Co to make a pit stop on this next lap. Already had a good ding-dong battle. Look at this, Rooney's gaining. He's gaining. He's going to be close into the last corner. Stubbsy just puts his car in the middle of the road. Says no thank you. And yes, into the pits we have a couple of cars again. Rooney's got a good exit out the final corner. Stubbsy's going to be on the button. Overtake enabled as we rocket down towards turn 1. Again, Stubbsy just positions his car beautifully. You don't want to overdrive the car at this point. It's so easy to spin these tyres up, especially on the hard compound. Track temp is down on usual as well. Both drivers keeping it clean in terms of penalties for the time being. And that's going to be crucial around this track. There's a few chances to pick up warnings, especially through Degner, through the last corner. You're really pushing the boundaries in terms of track limits through there. And it looks like this is the closest battle we have on track, as well as Fronhoff and Dunsworth. We'll check in with that if it starts to tighten up. Gaining, he's gaining. Not going to be close enough. He needs a good exit through here. Good purchase out the final corner onto the main straight. Overtake as enabled. He's using all the juice this time, and he's going to have a massive overspeed. Here comes Rooney. Again, sometimes just try. No need to try and force the car ahead into a mistake at this point. So all of the soft runners have now made their pit stop. And we've got a few guys going for the opposite strategy. They've gone long on the softs, and they're going to go softs to mediums. Oh, wheel-to-wheel action here at the back of the order. A racing car was out. There's a safety car deployed. Oh, here we go. 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 We're going to have some big action now, boys. The safety car is going to pick up the leader. K-Mag. His Christmas has come early. He's gone on that opposite strategy. But he's going to pay off for him because maybe it's come a bit too early. So of course, you're going to have to use a different compound of tyre. And it's going to be interesting to see what the options are here for him. He's probably going to go onto the hard tyre. I don't think the softs will last to the end of the Grand Prix. We'll get racing on lap 14, you'd say. And an interesting call for Stubbsy and Rooney. What they're going to do, are they going to opt for a medium, or are they going to hold on to track position? Let's see. Are they going to peel off into pit lane? Oh, he dummies into the pits. He almost caught him out there. He almost touched the barrier as well. It's a game of chess out here, boys. And yep, K-Mag onto the hard tyres. Weston's in pit lane. So maybe he's going to use this opportunity. And this has worked out beautifully for Long. Beautifully. I mean, it's been a collision on track. I think he's picked up 5 seconds worth of penalties, and he's had enough. Sorry to see you go, Vettel. Just hoping for a good result for you today. But yeah, it worked out beautifully for Lorne. You know, he's going to be on that medium tyre. He's just strapped it on. And it's put him in a beautiful position. He's currently on a podium. And he's going to be behind his teammate. He's going to have the pace on these guys ahead of him. You know, he might have struggled in terms of tyre wear, but this safety car should enable him to push all the way to the flag now on that medium compound. So, lap 13 of 27, we have a safety car out on track, and Stubbsy leads the way from Rooney. Rooney did get ahead on track, and then Stubbsy pulled the trigger, went for the undercut, managed just to get ahead of his rival Rooney out of the pits. And then Lorne, he went... Did he start? What time did he start? He started on the softs, didn't he? Pretty sure he did, and he went very long on those. Lorne up 2 places, K-Mag up 8, Dyslexic up 9, Yanni 3, James 2. The real losers, Weston's there. Weston's has gone for a fresh medium though, so he's going to be super quick. The penalty situation, K-Mag has 3 seconds, Dyslexic has 3, Ludlow has 3. We had a few 5-second penalties which had to be served in the pit lane as well. And it looks like the safety car will be with us for 1 more lap. I hope only 1 more anyway. But the front 2 are on the hard tyres. Lorne in P3 on a fresh set of mediums. And then we've got K-Mag on a fresh set of hards, front half on a hard tyre. Dyslexic on a fresh set of mediums. Yellian's on his hards, and Weston's, Dunsworth, Drazzy all on the mediums. Ludlow at the back on a fresh set of the hards. So who's going to win it from here? It's pretty much anyone's bet. Now, team orders might come into play. They may. But would you let Lorne have a real go at Stubbsy here? You know, he's on that medium compound. He's going to be the quicker driver. I mean, Rooney's the quicker of the 2 drivers in general, but he's going to be on the quicker compound. Do you release him to have a go at Stubbsy here? You know, Lorne's got nothing to lose. Stubbsy's got a lot to lose, as well as Rooney. It's going to be an interesting call. So it looks like we should get racing on the start of lap 15 of the Grand Prix. The snake or the pack is all formed up, and we just wait for the message from race control that the safety car will be coming in, as indicated by the lights going off on the safety car up ahead of us. And here we go, we've just got the message, the lights have gone out. Stubbsy will resume the duty of the safety car, will begin to back up the pack. He's allowed to control the pace, but as soon as he goes full throttle, he will have to stick to it. He can't go and stop, go and stop, go and stop. So let's see when he gets the hammer down now. Going to be Rooney's best chance of getting the move done is on the restart, and Stubbsy gets a little wiggle on traction here as we head down into turn one. It's going to be button enabled. Stubbsy's going to have to defend the inside line as we head down into turn one. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Is Rooney going to try and make a move around the outside? He's going to try and get the switch back on. Is there going to be space? Stubbsy leaves the door open. Is there space for Rooney? Applying the pressure there. Lawn's going to have his tyres probably more up to temperature. Them hard to get heat into. And looks like everyone holding station off the restart. Very easy to lose it through the S's off the restart. As well, getting a bit too trigger happy, putting it up into rich mode when the tyres are not where they should be. But it looks like the sun is starting to come out, so the track should start to come towards the drivers at this point. And we've got a 3-second penalty going to James F1 there, just cutting the exit of Degner, it looks like, as we come into the hairpin. Dyslexic is going to be very close. This is what we wanted. It's backed all the pack up. Everyone's made their pit stops now, so it is just a sprint race to the finish of this Grand Prix. Who's going to win at the front of the order? It's anyone's bet. They're going 2 by 2. Drazzy having a little look at the back of the horse. Not quite close enough. Who else is going to try and make a move? Got a nice battle here. Front half, Dyslexic and Yanni Ans as we rocket up towards 130R. He's all over the back of him. Is he going to send it down the inside on their mediums? Oh, yes, he is. But he can't get the move done. He can't get the move done. Look at this. It's 0.2 of a second as they come down the straights. Weston's in the pits. No! He's hoping for a good result for Weston's today. Front half running a bit wide. They tried to carry the speed through. There wasn't enough space for the two of us. And Dyslexic needs to get out of the loud pedal there. It's got so much more speed. And the mediums, they will fade in the final laps of the Grand Prix where the hards will start to come into their own. And Stubbsy has a 6/10 advantage over P2. Focus on this battle for now, because Dyslexic looks like he's a man on the mission. He's going to send it up the inside of the hairpin. And it's Alfa Tauri versus Alfa Romeo, and he gets the job done. Trading paint there. And yeah. Dyslexic, you will not be on front half's Christmas card list. You will not be on his list, I can confirm. After that lunge, here he comes, Rooney. He's gaining, he's gaining. Gonna have to be clinical with this. And Lawn, you need to turn it on now, man. You need to start to help your teammate. You need to close in on the back of here. Or is he just staying out of it? I mean, he needs to get out of the DRS of the car behind. Stubbsy just doing enough down into turn one. Here comes James. Gonna go the long way round. Oh! Yanni Ans taken to the curb just to get out of it. Good driving there, boys. What's happened? Yanni Ans is around. Oh. I think he maybe clipped the grass there. And we've got quite extensive damage to the front right of the nose. We're going to have to box. Here we go, top three all in DRS of each other. Lawn in danger of losing out here. He's on the freshest rubber, or should we say the best rubber possible. And yeah, he's going to be out of DRS on this lap. It's hammer time, Lawn, hammer time. Go ham or let's go home. Just wants a podium and his teammate to win, ideally. pretty much wrapped up for the constructors. Dyslexic now edging ever closer to the back of K-Mag. K-Mag on them hard tyres. Gonna have to defend to the inside. And Dyslexic just needs to play the long game here. Should get on the power nicer. Here he comes. It's going to be a clinical move. BRS. Softer rubber. Both drivers with time penalties. One half coming back into this now. And he's dragging Drazzy along with him for the ride. It's a real roller coaster of a track. Doesn't do it justice with the undulation, the up and down, side to side, like a roller coaster. In the words of Lando. Oh, front half. It's looking good there, man. Picked up a penalty, pushing a bit too hard, track limits. Still half a second at the front of the order. Lap 18 of 27, 9 laps to go here at the Japanese Grand Prix of Suzuka. We've had a safety car midway through the Grand Prix. We've had some real winners and losers. Lawn, one of those winners. He's sitting in a podium position, and Lawn has also picked up a penalty, I've just noticed as well. Let's put him on par with the car behind. He's got a 2-second advantage to Dyslexic. Here we go, let's check in with this battle for the lead. He's in DRS, he's using the juice. Stubbsy's on the button as well. Rooney's going to have to try and go around the outside, and he's going to try and go the long way around. Wheel to wheel action here. Oh, good respect shown from both drivers there. Oh, that was close. Actually not quite close enough on this lap. Hold on to your butts. Lawn back in DRS. Them two squabbling up ahead. Is allowing Lawn to edge back into the fight here for the dub. Penalty situation. Lawn in P3 has 3 seconds, as well as Dyslexic. K-Mag has 6 seconds. Drazzy is clean. Then we have front half on 3, as well as James and Ludlow. Westerns is clean, but 22 seconds back. And yeah, Lawn's got a front row ticket here to the lead of the Grand Prix. Oh, he gets on the curb. Big moment there. That's going to drop him out of the DRS. Yeah, it's lost him over half a second, maybe even 1 second, as that was in a traction zone. And here comes Rooney. He's going to try it, send it in a different spot. He needs to try something different here. Stubbsy making his car as wide as possible at this point. And Rooney now low on ERS, low on patience as well, running out of laps. These two have been going at it since round 1 in Austria. Stubbsy sent it on the last corner of the last lap and was stripped of the race win. And it's been this way, ding dong, all the way through the championship, and I think it's going to go right down to the wire. Stubbsy is looking to try and pick up another race victory. He's going to have to keep it clean and penalty free, as we see Westerns picks up a 3-second penalty as he edges on in. Is anyone else close enough to send one? We've got a nice battle brewing for front half and Drazzy, and as well as K-Mag in the battle for P5. I think Drazzy would be quite content to just sit back and relax. Front half not so much. Drazzy, of course, without any penalties to his name as of yet. Getting very close to losing it on the curb there. Stops using all of the track. Rooney all in the mirrors here. DRS enabled. Not going to be enough once again down into turn 1. Stubbsy being very clinical. using his ERS when he needs to. And he takes one mistake, one slip up, one missed gear change, one lock up, and it's going to all end in tears. Let's check in with this battle back here, because Drazzy is edging ever closer to the back of K-Mag. K-Mag on them hard tyres. Drazzy knows he's going to have to get it done soon. Doing his best to keep himself penalty free. Being a good boy so far. Unfortunately, in this Grand Prix we have lost Vettel, Racing Carl, and Tommy Real from the Grand Prix. Yanni Jans with the fastest lap, you'll love to see it. Oh, James has got ahead of Von Harper. After a disappointing qualifier, they've made up some big ground there, have the Red Bull drivers, probably in P5 and 7. Is Drazzy going to be close enough to the back of K-Mag to get a good run here? Running quite low on the old ERS. K-Mag even less the ERS available to him. Come around this long winded turn one, a great camera shot, a wide angle here. We've got James and Von Half in a battle of their own just behind. At 22 of 27, the race has flown by it. And looking forward to the Sakir Grand Prix after this one. George Russell lining up on the front row of the grid alongside Valtteri Bottas. Max Verstappen starting on them soft tyres is going to be extra punchy on the first lap and want to make a statement on Bottas, and George Russell really flex his muscles on that opening lap of the Grand Prix. He'll be sure of that. And will anyone else bring a surprise? Will we see a Checo, maybe a Danny Rick up on the podium at the end of the Grand Prix? Do let us know. It's going to be an interesting one. I think we've got 87 laps of the Sakir Grand Prix, and that's going to be extra grueling. You know, so many times into the same traction areas. And what's happened to Rooney? Rooney's had a moment. Me jibber-jabbing. I think he must have had a moment. Lost some traction. He's kept his nose clean. But that is gift-wrapped the win at this point to Stubbsy. Really now 2.1 seconds behind. So Stubbsy just needs to keep it clean. Drazzy gaining. This is the only battle which is in the DRS or under 1 second. And it's going to start to come towards the hard runners at this point now. I mean, the Meads should be good for about, I say good, like, you know, confident, probably for around 13, 14 laps. They'll start to edge away. Really a man on the mission. It's now down to 1.7, 1.8 seconds at the front. Lorne holding his own in P3. Trying to maintain that gap to the car behind of Sink. Now 1.2 seconds. Drazzy on the button down the back straight. Come through to Casio corner. 1.5 back in the DRS now of James, maybe struggling a bit with the tyre deg. Now on 12 lap old, make that 13 laps old mediums. Come down into turn 1, is the Ferrari going to have a look? There's not going to be any space for him. He's just going to have to try and get an undercut somewhere. And switch back. And he's going to have to hold off. You know, there's a few limited places you can try and make an overtake. You know, if you're going to do it down into turn 1, you need to do it quite early and get a good run out the final corner. And maybe even slipping up the inside is difficult because you're going to compromise your line. It's very easy to understeer wide. Another opportunity, if you get close enough, is out of the exit of this corner, coming into the hairpin. You can maybe send one down the inside if you're feeling extra confident under braking. And the other opportunity will be on the exit of 130R into the last chicane, and try and make a send there into the Casio corner. So front half doing some bits now. Now half a second the gap to the car ahead. James starting to feel the pressure, like we say, on them used mediums. Gap at the front between Stubbsy and Rooney at 1.6 seconds, maybe like 1.5. So Stubbsy, don't open the door now. We've got a couple of laps to go. Again, close enough. An interesting Japanese Grand Prix. A real shame to see Tommy out on the opening lap of the Grand Prix. We had an incident with an Alfa Romeo, maybe it was Ludlow, front half, I can't quite remember. But a good recovery from both of them anyway. Back into the points. Sink is now starting to really apply the pressure for the podium position. And is it going to be a straight fight? And no, it's not. We've got a yellow flag, and that is Weston's. Weston's has had a moment round in the snake of the S's. And has he got damage? Potentially. No, we look good. We look good there. Unfortunate incident. You're going to have to be careful on them tyres. They're going to be probably baked. We come down the back stretch into 130R. Front half, maybe going to look to send one into the chicane. Not quite close enough on this occasion. And Rooney has really clawed back the ground. And he's going to be within DRS almost at this point. Oh no, here we go. Zink made the move for P3. He's going to have to pull out 3 seconds. We're on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, and yeah, of course he's got 3 more seconds of penalties. He's going to have to put the work in now if he wants to taste the champagne. Ron's going to be kicking himself. He just needs to hang on to the back of it, stay in the DRS, and he will be the man on the podium. Drazzy just starting to struggle now against K-Mag. He was the more confident of the two, but he's starting to slip back now. The mediums are looking a bit second hand, and this should be front half's opportunity. They both have 3 seconds worth of penalties. His tyres will be in a better place right now on the harder compound. Stubbsy sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix at 28.9. Front half picks up another penalty, pushing too hard, and yeah, it's going to be a day late and $1 short now. Pretty sure of that. Drazzy is getting desperate. And very desperate front half as well. The gap at the front, Rooney had closed into the DRS window. It's just opened back up to 1.6 seconds. Probably struggling with tyre life now. Getting a bit greasy. A bit squirmy on throttle. He's going to have a little sniff down into the hairpin. How desperate is he? Not close enough again. Well, it's been an interesting Grand Prix. It's been a tricky one. Stubbsy got the pole position, led away at the start. Rooney got it done on track, but Stubbsy pulled the trigger, went for that early undercuts. He's kept it clean, kept it smooth, and he's going to pick up another win for the Japanese Grand Prix. A valiant effort there for Rooney, coming home in P2, keeps the championship fight alive, and Lorne is going to win it on penalties. He is going to be in P4, make that P5, because Drazzy has kept it even cleaner, and he's going to pick up P4. Dyslexic P5, K-Mag's going to come home P6, and P7 for James, and it's going to be front half P8. P9 for Ludlow as he crosses the line. Is he going to hold on to it? It does. Do believe so, because Westerns is quite far back. A tricky day at the office for Westerns, one of my favourite drivers on the grid here. And another tough day at the office as well for Dunsworth and Yanni Jans involved in incidents, and unfortunate to see Vettel, Racing Carl, and also Tommy Real out of the Grand Prix. But little love tap on the barrier there, venting his disappointment at this Grand Prix. But this has been another Republic of Motorsport Grand Prix. This has been Suzuka. We're heading into the final rounds now. It's still all to play for in the Drivers' Championship. Stubbsy with another dub. Rooney, Mr. Consistent, always there, hot on the heels. Couldn't get it done today. Well, he did on the early stint, but Stubbsy just a bit smarter when it came to the strategy. We had that safety car deployed, and yeah, a tricky track to make the overtake work. Stubbsy really clinical with his ERS management. He was on the button when he had to be, and pretty hard to get around it. So the game awards the driver of the day to Sync Dyslexic. That's your lot for today. Thank you for joining us for another Republic of Motorsport Grand Prix. I've been ABR Skills. It's been a pleasure to host the Grand Prix today. Join us the same time next week. Well, not the same time next week, Rich. It's probably going to be 4:30 next week. All depends on the F1 action itself. But we've got the Sakir Grand Prix coming right up, so make sure you're tuned into that one. And yeah, we'll see you all soon. Take care. Thanks for watching. Good night. Rooney. So it finished Stubbsy with the dub, Rooney P2, Lorne P3, then Drazzy, Dyslexic, K-Mag, James, front half Ludlow, Westerns with the final point today. And then it was Dunsworth, Yanni Jans, Vettel. Of course, we had a few DNFs today. Unfortunate to see Vettel, Racing Carl, and Tommy Real out of the race. Rooney, how was the Grand Prix for you today, my friend? It was tight coming out the pits. it was nip and tuck, and it was gutted. You just got past him as well on that first stint, and then he pulled the trigger on the undercut and seemed to make it work. But credit where it's due, hot on the heels. Another good performance from you, my friend. But I'm going to jump out and we're going to get into the Sakir Grand Prix. Enjoy that one, my friend, and I'll hopefully join you again next week.